Meanwhile, the Democrat Party is bringing in Obama, but he's doing it behind the scene. What he's trying to do, I guess, is boost Democrat candidates that he likes. Here's what the Daily Beast wrote. They said, Obama is secretly boosting rising Dem stars to undermine Trump. The former president has held private calls praising their communication skills and their authenticity. So I guess this is Obama is always behind the scenes. Remember, he had that famous interview where he said, I wish I could be, have a third term, but be behind the scenes as a, with a puppet president, which he kind of got on the last term with the last president, Joe Biden. But, every now and then, and you have to look at who is he supporting. And you saw that when he first ran. Remember that moment when the mask slipped with Joe the plumber? And he said, don't you want to spread the wealth? No surprise that Barack Obama is boosting candidates who are socialists, who are communists, like Mondami.
Well, I guess you ask yourself, who are these candidates and how do they connect with people? I think that's still a problem, even with Obama pushing it. They aren't connecting with people. As a matter of fact, they're going so far as to have an ad for Labor Day that's just a can of beer being opened to make people think they're regular, I guess, masculine males. And they're not really reconciling the fact they attacked males, both the fact that you are a male by birth and that you may be masculine, which is very common among men, real one, like biological men. Yeah, they called us toxic. They said that, matter of fact, it's okay to be a woman and be a man. It's, they had pajama boy for Biden. And, well, now they're realizing that actually turned males away. That turned millennials away. That turned what are we at? Z away, whatever the next generation that's coming through. They don't want that. And it's not because, I said this earlier in an interview, but this is really what it is. It's the same thing as being a man and dressing up as what you think a woman is and saying that's femininity. Right. I think wearing lipstick and a wig makes me feminine. It's not about the essence of femininity. It's the same thing about masculinity. We've got a montage of them dressing up as masculine, not actually being masculine.
We appear so damn weak, and I can't take it anymore. And I think our brand has struggled. We're suffering from that. And so what I'm trying to express, it is a desire to push back, to punch these guys back in the mouth.
Let's go! Hey, baby! That's clean.
I should be working right now. Instead, I'm pumping iron at the gym.
You can always tell something about somebody's maintenance when how clean their air filter is.
Just not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer. Robert, my husband Bruce is now in here. You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
So they're struggling with masculinity, so they're going to bring back the guy famous for mom jeans and his dorky bike helmet and the guy who can't fire a shotgun, Barack Obama. The thing that I think is really interesting about the fact that they are turning back to him, despite, and it's not going to help them with their masculinity problem, is, think about this. Donald Trump, we're looking at 9 years after Donald Trump entered, 10 years after Donald Trump entered the political arena, and he is still relevant every single day. He remains relevant. And by the time Barack Obama finished his second term, he had already become totally irrelevant, even within his own party. So I don't really think this is going to work.
But he's constantly meddling, and this is why.
That's
this is why
I'm talking about political relevance. His wife launches a podcast, and nobody listens to it. Why? Because in terms of actual voters, they're totally irrelevant.
But this is why I want Michelle and Barack Obama to get back together. I think Barack Obama's really bored. I think he needs to step down, go for a cruise, maybe go on a cruise as you like, and just stay out of politics. Because everything he's meddled in doesn't even work out. I mean, he tried to do this thing with Joe Biden, kick him off the stage, put in Kamala Harris. That didn't work. Nothing's working. So just go home.
I just want to put
work on your marriage.
I just want to put a pin in this masculine thing for the Democrats. They're trying to win over male voters by presenting themselves as masculine. Donald Trump, I don't think anybody's going to argue, is seen as one of the most alpha figures in our country.
100%.
I've never seen him lift weights. I've never seen him shoot a gun. I've never seen him crack open a beer.
Yep.
This idea that you're dressing up as rather than being. The essence of Donald Trump is masculine, the way that he presents it, not in some, cover-all way. And I think that's what Democrats are completely missing, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love that he never does that cosplaying either. He just is who he is.
That's
and
exactly
you get
right.
that he's an alpha male.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.